Join me as I took on my hardest Wainwright challenge to date, which was 9 Wainwrights over 18 mile, and I was absolutely shattered by the time I finished it. Along the way, I will tell you stories about my Royal Marine days when I was a recruit, and the fun and the torture I went through. So here I am, 4th of May 2025, back in the Lake District, doing the Wainwright challenge. So today I've got a long one, so I'm going up Loch Pike, long side, Carl side, Skiddaw, just walked in with tree branch, never mind. Then Bakestall, then Skiddaw Little Man, then Longdale Fell, Latrig and Dodd. So I am a bit excited and nervous about today, because I've been up Skiddaw at least 4-5 times, and not once have I been up there it hasn't been clogged in. So the forecast today is for a clear summit, so fingers crossed when I get up there it will be a clear summit and I'll finally get to see the views. So last Sunday I was up in Scotland doing the kit walk from Glasgow Green to Balloch, up next to Loch Lomond, which is about 23 mile. So there's me, there was Jo, there was her sister and husband and one of their friends. So we done that. It was a good day. I did a video of it, but it wasn't really much to show in the video really, but I just thought I'd do it. So if you want to see that, that was the last video I've done before this one. Yeah, but that was 23 mile, and the last time I walked anywhere near that distance was when I was in the Royal Marines. When I was in training, it was one of the commando tests, 30 mile across Dartmoor. So we got split into 3 teams. So 2 teams made it. Unfortunately, one of the other teams, they didn't make it within the time limit. So they had to redo. I think when you redid it, they only had to do 20 mile or something like that, I think it was. Yeah, but that was a canny hike when I did 30 miler. And I remember we had to stop for food break and that. And I was a bit like Oliver Twist, because I had my food and I was still starving. So I went with the training team and I said, please sir, can I have some more? I was starving. So had some more. And I do know Oliver Twist said, please sir, I want some more. But I wasn't going to say I want some more to the training team, or I would have got a right bollocking for it. But this is a nice little path. So I've been up actually Skiddaw before, and this is my favourite route, which I'm taking today. So it's like an easy ridge line that goes up. So that is the way I went today. So hopefully get some good views, get my drone up, and get some drone footage. But look at this forest. Look how dark this is. And it is what time is it now? I think it's about 7 in the morning. But I was saying, when I was in the Royal Marines, when I was training, it was absolutely brutal. And when I first went down there, when I first started, the drill sergeant, or drill corporal, what to say, God, I don't think he liked us, because he was giving me so much crap, telling us how rubbish I was, telling us I should quit, go home, I'll never make it, and all that sort of stuff. And then, before we had our leave, we were on the drill square, and he was coming along, and he was inspecting us, and he came up to us, and he says, I expect to see you back after leave, because you were not the worst one in the troop. Don't know if you can see on the camera, but just through the trees you can see Bathonthwaite Lake. Actually a nice view from here with the trees either side. Don't know how it will look on the camera with it being a little bit darkish in the trees, but from where I'm looking, that is a really nice view. But as I was saying about the Royal Marines when I first joined, so I think in the first week, 2 weeks, I think there must have been about 10, 15 people quit, and then went home on leave, and then came back from leave, and I think it was another 10 people never came back. So just proves how tough it was for some. So then I got all the way through to the final exercise, and before the final exercise I got an infection in my right elbow, but I didn't tell the training team, because I knew if I did that I'd get pulled off, and then I'd get back trooped, which I think you got so far through training, the last thing you wanted was to be back trooped. So I kept going, and my elbow just got worse and worse. You know, then I think the training team must have realised something was up, and they pulled us to one side, and the guys would take me coating that off, and they saw me elbow. Well, I marched straight in front of the sergeant, and straight away pulled off exercise, took straight back to Limston, went into the on-site hospitals I have there, and that's where I stayed for a week, getting pumped full of antibiotics to try and get rid of the infection in my elbow. So after that I did get back trooped. I had to go into Hunter Troop, and I was in Hunter Troop for must have been 3-4 weeks I think it was, before I got back into another troop. That's a nice view of the Bathonthwaite Lake. So, anybody who saw my video, what did they call it, horseshoe in the snow? That's it over there. I think that's one of the best videos I did for me, because it was so much fun in all that snow. It looked absolutely amazing. That was actually a really good day. Well, you can see the sheep down there lying down, keeping at the wind, because the wind is bitter I know the forecast said supposed to be -2, -3 at the top, and that's at 10 o'clock. And then I don't know if you can see down there, a few more people looks like they're heading up. Today's bank holiday weekend as well, so that's what I came across early for, make sure I get a parking space. But you can see where I'm heading, and that is a nice ridge line. So as I was saying when I was in training for the Royal Marines, my favourite commando test, I suppose if you could have a favourite commando test, was the endurance course. So in that you had to go through all these obstacles like concrete shelters underground, crawling through them, go again dipped through the water, and then you had to run all the way back to Lympstone, get out to the firing ranges, then you had to answer a few questions, then go to the firing range and fire off 10 rounds and hit the target. And that was it. So it was tough, but that was actually my favourite one. My worst one was a 9-mile speed march. Even though I did like run in them days, it's just that you had to like start off in step. So you had the smallest people in front, tallest people at the back. So the stride for me was just too small, and it was an absolute killer. It wasn't until you actually broke rank and you started running that was a lot easier for us. Yep, I think that was my toughest one. So yep, still heading up. Let's see what's at the top of here. You can see the fella going up there. Made me jump out my skin. I was just replying to some WhatsApp messages. Didn't know it was behind us, and he ran past us. Didn't know what it was at first. I jumped. So here we are, top of Ulwick Pike, and just look at these views. Absolutely amazing. So I was in training for the Royal Marines. I suppose the worst exercise we were on was our survival exercise. So that was a week on Dartmoor, no food, but we still had to do all our normal night navigation exercises and then doing the stuff that we did during the day. It was absolutely horrendous. I remember one night we happened to get to the top of this hill or whatever it was, and our feet were absolutely killing us, and we were actually dragging each other up to get the top to where the corporal was to find out where we had to go next. Then at the end of the exercise, because we were given a rabbit, we had to keep the rabbit safe for the week because that was going to be our food at the end, and we were killing the rabbit and we ate it, and then some of the lads threw all the intestines and that away. So the training team came round, saw them, and they went absolutely berserk. So they said that could have been used for bait to catch other animals to survive on. So we got frog marched down to this small river, I would say, about the width of an A-class road. We had to strip off completely naked, and then we had to go across, come back. Bear in mind this is in March and there was ice floating down the river, and we were absolutely freezing. And we had 50 seconds to get our clothes back on, where you couldn't do because your hands were numb. So clothes off again, then back across the river, back. This time we had 40 seconds to get our clothes on. Didn't do it. Clothes off what we had on, back across the river, then back. This time we had 30 seconds. Couldn't do it. Went all the way down to I think it was 20 seconds, and we were absolutely numb. You know, all your male extremities, that's the best way to put it, were no longer extremities. You know, that's how cold we were. So that was the worst exercise, and the best exercise was actually the final X, because that was the accumulation of 8 months of training, all put together in one week. And we pretty much left our own devices on that exercise, you know, because we were pretty much Royal Marines by then, and that was our final X. So that was good fun. So here we are, top of that side, so you can see where I've been. See where I'm heading next, over there, Carlside. Now from Carlside, you can see the path, you might be able to see the path I'm going to take. I'll be able to skid out. So you can see where I'm heading. This is over Hayfest. So when we finished all our commando exercises, we had a passing out period to do. So the troop I got back trooped to, because of my elbow injury, there was only about 4 or 5 of the original troop left. That's how many people had either left or got injured, etc. So my mum and dad came down, 3 more relations and the hard older generation know these, the old big camp recorders that you just put on your shoulder, VHS video recorders, absolutely huge things. You know, I had one of them, no idea where they got it from, and the video that was played, and went back home, and then had to go to the pub with my dad that night on the workman's club with my dad. So I went down, had to wear my blues. So in the pub having a drink that. Then go back to the house, and then the music started. And that was party for us. It was actually playing status quo in the army now. And I turned around and my mum said, "Mum, I'm not in the army, I'm in the Navy, I'm in the Royal Marines." That's quite funny. But anyway, that's where I'm heading. You can see the path heading up to get out. That shows just how little rain we've had. That is a Carlside Tarn, all dried up at the minute. So I'm not sure whether you can see very well, but we have the Solway Firth over there. And beyond that, we have Scotland. We're crossing the distance. Actually forgot how much of a slog this is, and believe you me, the camera's not lying on this. This is absolutely grueling getting up here. Weeks ago, that way down those fells, so you can see Short Regiment Blencathra over there. So here we are, Extral. So you see where I've been. Let's get out there, which is where I've got to head back up. This is the view, so I'm getting to me. Sit down here and we're going to switch out. As when I was in training in the Royal Marines, I went home on leave after halfway through training. I was talking to my mates, and I was talking to my best mate, and he was asking what it was like. I was telling him how brutal it was and that, but it was also good fun. You know, you push yourself to the limit and see what you can achieve. Went back down Linson, and about a month later, my best mate just joined up, so he was heading down. So I didn't say much training. Anyway, when I passed out, I got the 2nd 40 Commando, which was based down in Taunton. So I went down there, and my best mate was still in training. Actually, my best mate, he's going to be the best man at the wedding this year. So that's going to be good. Yeah, but anyway, I was talking one day. But you know, you think about it, all those years ago, how do we communicate? There's no mobile phones or internet, nothing like that. But anyway, managed, I can't remember whether we were phoning or whether I sent each other's letters. I don't know, but I was talking to him anyway, or messaging him anyway, whatever it was. Anyway, he was a bit homesick. He wanted to go home for a weekend, and I said, well, I'm going home this weekend. So as we were Royal Commandos, I'm not going to say too much about it, but he wasn't allowed out of camp, but I took him home, took him home for the weekend, then brought him back, and then dropped him off. Now I'm back down to Taunton. So if if anything had gone wrong with his troop that weekend, and he wasn't there, God, he would have been in so much trouble. I think I'd have been in so much trouble as well. Yeah, but like I say, I took him home for the weekend, and he had a good time. So I suppose at the end of the year, that's what best mates do. Chocker now. I see all the people on the top, and I must have passed at least 30 people coming down who were heading. I was talking to a woman there. She was told by the man who runs the hotel, you got to get up here early because this weather is going to be absolutely healing, and it is just that. So you're not a very social person, really. I suppose the forces. Behind, and if we failed the run, so we knew we were shot. We went back. And, the train team had us, but it doesn't matter how much encouragement that we give him, he just couldn't find the energy to keep going. He knew he kept going, we just didn't have the energy to pick this pace up. So he never finished on time, so he did get back trooped. And then there was another lad, he was there, there was a shot. He had to pass in the firing range, so we'd all passed, so we could just do free shooting. So we were trying to be shooting at our target, and really we were shooting at his target, trying to have him pass. That backfired on us, because when the cop went down to check the target, he got us all together. He was sort of like bodyguard, and turned around and said, "How comes he was only firing 10 rounds and he had 20 plus holes in his target?" So we couldn't shoot anymore. Do it again. He has got get out, little man. Let's get out, little man was too busy to try and do any put pictures up there. Skate fell. Sitting over there. Good views on that side. Really sad, but I suppose when all that heather's in bloom, that would look quite amazing. I wonder whether that's one of the top things that the fella would do when they run past. And then they top it. See they've been there. Anyway, head off. That big left dot, 9 weird milestone. So as mentioned earlier, when I was in the Marines, my best mate joined. So I was actually my best mate's best man at his wedding. And so I was making my speech at ages thinking about the speech. I did it the best I could, and then all my mates and that at the front, all these put these scoreboards up, 0, 0, 0, 0. I thought, the cheeky sons, you know. I spent ages trying to do this speech, but boys will be boys, as they say. That rig's busy. Well, I thought that was the top, but it's not. This is the top. Here we are. So you can see the path came down. Very good. Get out, let's get out of the man. So after I passed out with training, I got posted to the 40 Commando, which is based down in Taunton, and then about a month after I was there, who used to turn up, but the lad who failed on his running, he got posted to the same unit, so that was good. At least I knew he managed to get through and he got to his unit. But even in the units we had good fun. I remember one of them was we had this bunch of MPs. We had to go out with this, I think it was a troop ship or something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but the Navy at the time was trying to get the government to buy some more troop ships. So we were on this ship and we're showing the MPs just how crammed they were and you couldn't carry all your stuff and all that. But anyway, when that finished, we got a landing craft and that took us down to the beach because there was a coach waiting for us. So I think it was really funny. So the landing craft comes ashore, drops the front down. There's us walk off this landing craft up the beach. You've got to imagine us, all our backpacks, rifles, weapon, the whole bundle. Walk up and we see this ice cream van. We all made a detour for the ice cream van and stood in the queue. Oh, what people must have thought when they saw us. But that was good fun. Good fun indeed. And Lord is in sight. It's been a tough climb. You get the top and get my energy back. Whew. Quite impressive views. Well, that's me almost back of the car. Been a really good day. So if you're still watching, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. Bye.